In this video, I'll be breaking down the time that Tory Lanez and Drake had beef. Let's get into it. Why does this matter? Well, currently Drake has beef with Kendrick Lamar, and we've seen several diss tracks being dropped back and forth between them, hyping up the internet. Now, this is all very exciting, but analyzing one of the previous beefs of Drake will give us an overall notion into how this may finish. Not how it will, but how it may. So let's get into it. This all begins with Tory Lanez back in 2010. Tory Lanez was just another rapper from Brampton, Ontario, a place very close to Toronto, and a video surfaced on the internet of Tory Lanez rapping, titled Drake's Little Brother, and people started to speculate that this was Drake's little brother. We do know that Tory Lanez and Drake are not related to each other. Tory Lanez even clarified that he's not related to Drake, but he did have a proposal for Drake. He offered Drake $10,000 to listen to his music. He said if Drake does not like the music, he can take the money. But obviously Drake did not respond because he saw this as a publicity stunt to give Tory more publicity and give him the overall throne to Toronto.
I'm not Drake's little brother, I never have. Now Drake, I get compared to you on a daily basis, and it's an honor, I like your music. But I got 10 G's here that says you will love mine. And if for any reason you don't like my music, 10 G's is yours.
Now, this is where it all stems from. The overall notion that Drake would not give Tory Lanez a sign of respect to even look at his music. That Drake would look at himself as someone much higher than Tory Lanez, when they are from the same overall geographic location. So why does it matter though? It matters because Drake is not acknowledging such. He's not acknowledging it until it's a problem. When Tory Lanez is making music in the underground notion and a few people are listening to it, it doesn't matter to Drake. But when millions of people are listening to Tory on a similar scale to Drake, then it starts to matter. And this is what we saw later happen. 2015, Tory Lanez started to get momentum in the rap game. He was having freestyles on shows, putting out freestyles on YouTube shows, as well as having great concerts and great songs on the rise. And Tory Lanez dissed Drake, because now he actually could diss Drake. He took a jab at Drake right here.
I know these niggas about to act scary. T.O. nigga only spitting without the Blackberry. My niggas ballin', niggas they never stallin'.
What was that line you said about people be scary?
I don't have a Blackberry, that's what I said.
This jab is referencing to a clip where Drake is rapping off of his Blackberry phone. I'll play that clip for you right here.
Cut me all the way off now. Yeah. Alright. I'ma get this. Hold on. Can we come back? Can we do it?
Tory Lanez saying this is going at Drake in some type of way, and this would get Drake's attention. On the song 10 Bands that was released on February 13th, 2015, Drake says, "This that OVO that season, this that new Toronto." Remember the phrase, the new Toronto, and for many of you, you already may know what that phrase means. But remember the phrase, the new Toronto. Drake mentioning it here starts the overall feud in a greater sense. On October 12, 2015, Tory Lanez posted the tweet, "The whole calling Toronto the 6 thing, it's not cool, bro." Now, where does the 6 come from? The 6 comes from the phone number in Toronto, 416, the last digit of this phone number. We've also seen Drake become the global ambassador of the Toronto Raptors in 2013. And at playoff games leading up to this, they were giving out shirts with the 6 on the back relative to what Drake designed, as well as Drake nights over and over again as he's trying to run his own music through the city and raise the awareness of the Raptors in some sense. Now, on December 25th, 2015, Tory Lanez would drop the new Toronto mixtape. This is when he started to actually make the run for himself and show that he's actually a great artist. His versatility through this mixtape presents himself as a new and upcoming artist. Now, this feud would take off on January 13th, 2016, when Drake dropped the single Summer 16, where he raps, "All you boys in the new Toronto wanna be me a little. All your exes know I like my O's with a V in the middle. You would love it if I went away and didn't say nothing else. How am I keeping it real? By keeping the stuff to myself. You was never gang, you was never one of us." Drake starting it with "All you boys in the new Toronto wanna be me a little" is going at Tory Lanez for his mixtape that I mentioned, The New Toronto, saying that everyone in the new Toronto, aka Tory Lanez, is trying to be like Drake right now and reach that throne that Drake has. Drake then proceeds to rap the gang, and try to say that Tory Lanez is not a part of his clique in any standpoint and that he does not mess with Tory Lanez. Now, Tory would fire back real quick on February 26, 2016 in the song Uber Everywhere remix, where he says, "You don't know no trap, you don't be round this way. You some actor boy, I used to see you on the screen." Here he hints when Drake was on Degrassi and how he turned from an actor to a singer and how he belongs on the acting screen, and that he's not a rapper in any sense. Tory Lanez would follow this up on when he featured on the song Line Up the Flex with A$AP Ferg that released on April 8th, 2016, where he says, "When I see him in the streets and brush him off, F them people that was hating on me, even though a person used to tell them all, I was never ever gang. Here he hints back at how Drake said gang on the Summer 16 song, and tries to show that he doesn't mess with Drake in any standpoint either. We would see Tory Lanez come out on interviews after this and say he wants to be him. He wants to be himself, and that all this beef with Drake isn't really beef.
Drake a little.
No, I want to be me and the best me that I could possibly be.
That he looks up to these people and there's no such beef. But then he goes and drops these songs where he's targeting these rappers. So the whole overall situation is very fuzzy. Was Tory Lanez trying to diss Drake, or was Tory Lanez actually buddies with Drake? What we can take from here is Tory Lanez was trying to climb up the ladder and Tory Lanez was trying to be heard by more people. So he was causing these controversies to be able to be heard. Now Tory Lanez would put out a Controller remix to Drake's hit song Controller, and he mentions here that he is not a hater to Drake in this clip right here.
That's it, that was all it was. I'm not a hater, like I said, I'm not a hater. I've expressed this before. I've never been a hater. We like you.
Okay.
We just want to be number one.
Just want
Is
to be
there
number
a problem
one.
with that? Can I be the best? Can y'all watch me be great? Will y'all allow me to do that? That's all it is. Damn. You know?
Now for a year nothing would happen until Drake dropped More Life on March 18, 2017. And in the song Do Not Disturb, Drake picks up where he left off. And he says, "You overnight celebrity, you one day star. So I told you that I'm in this for eternity. I'm a reflection of all of your insecurities. Behind closed doors, a lot of sick God worshipping." This is a shot at Tory. In a sense, he's kind of talking down to Tory here. Starts by flipping Tory's government name, Daystar Peterson, as one of the titles on his debut album, I Told You, and track One Day. As at the beginning, he says, "You one day star," and then says, "I told you." And then he insults Tory's lack of staying power and personal insecurities about success, where he says, "I'm a reflection of all of your insecurities." And then he mentions that behind closed doors, Tory's talking highly on him, as in the clips that I showed you, but here Tory's talking down on him, and in a sense is kind of switching up to show his own insecurities on his own self. Now I don't think they're insecurities in that standpoint. I think they're fully just Tory trying to get more publicity, but I see how Drake can flip it in that type of way. Obviously these are on a lesser scale than the Kendrick beef, but this is still beef that Drake and Tory were involved in. Now after this was dropped, Tory went on an interview and talked about how this beef was fixed up. We got in a conversation with Drake and just talked it all out in this clip right here.
One phone call, two friends, and was it that simple?
There's a couple other things around it, but that's, that was between me and him. I'm not, I think for it to happen the way it happened, it was meant to happen that way, and for whatever the reasons around it was, between me and him.
Now in May 2017, Drake and Tory did put their beef to an end. They put their issues behind them with a simple Instagram post and this post right here. People were encouraging him to drop this petty beef, and as I mentioned in the phone call, they were able to put this behind themselves. So where did this put us? Drake ended up bringing out Tory for OVO Fest, which is Drake's concert that he holds in Toronto, and Tory performed Controller. And Drake said,
"You see me and this guy right here, we had problems with each other. We had never even met each other. I met the man, and he's a great guy. So I want you to make some motherfucking noise for somebody that's carrying this city on his back all across the motherfucking world. A young king. He goes by the name of Tory Lanez."
So they put all the beef to an end and put it all behind them. Also in 2019, they also went on tour together, as you can see in these promotional photos right here. And ever since then, the beef came to an end. We have seen Drake keep supporting Tory Lanez, even through the midst of his trial and his conviction for the Megan Thee Stallion shooting. As in the post where Tory Lanez talks about how he feels about the situation, Drake liked it, as you can see right there. And that's the full history behind the beef between Drake and Tory Lanez. This is obviously on a different scale than the Kendrick Lamar beef. I have no clue how the Kendrick Lamar beef will end, but it is pretty exciting to see how it's all playing out and how we're learning more things about these artists and how they're keeping us entertained. They're doing a great job at keeping us entertained, and we have to remind ourselves of this. This is all an entertainment business. This is all us listening to music with artists expressing themselves and us expressing ourselves through the listening of such. Keep your mind in tune with that this is all entertainment. Yes, we do get involved with these music artists, and we do feel some type of way, and we buy these concert tickets, we buy their merch, we listen to their music, but it is all music, my friends. It is all music. I'm not targeting at anyone in any standpoint, but it is all music. If you're interested more into the history between different artists, I made a full video about X and Kanye West and their full history. And you can watch the video right here. I put it up for you on the screen. It's a great video. It's around 11 minutes long, and I fully break it down in a very understandable and easy fashion. I love you. Take care.